Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well. In this little video, I will give you the other side of the story, where I will cover a few issues that are not reported by Fox News, CNN, Reuters, Agence France Press, BBC, Deutsche Welle, or I don't know, Associated Press. No. I will give you the other side. So whenever these guys, the big guys, give you the propaganda with, oh, this is what the Iranians did, first, I don't have a dog in the fight. But when these guys give you that side of the story, oh, look what the Iranians struck an Israeli hospital. The Iranians are using right now cluster munitions. The Iranians destroyed this, and Iranians killed this many people. I want to hear the other story. Do you think that Israel doesn't do anything? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to show you here. They do. All right, let's start with the first one. They tell you that Israel Iron Dome is impenetrable, like a virgin. So they say that the air defenses are poo. And we have here an article from New Voice of Ukraine that tells us a different story. New Voice of Ukraine. And it says, Israeli air defense struggles against Iran's newest missiles. So what happened? The Iranians started with Katyushas, and then they ended up with more advanced missiles. And more advanced missiles, more challenges for the Israelis. And it seems like they're struggling. Now, remember, this is not Ukrainska, is not Sputnik, or is not Russia Today, or is not INRA, or whatever these guys have over there. It is New Voice of Ukraine, which is pro-Israel because of Zelensky Stein, among others. They are owned anyway. Israel's Iron Dome air defense systems has shown a gradual decline in its ability to intercept ballistic missiles launched by Iran. NBC News reported it. Can you imagine that? Even the guys that usually don't report it, they said that. And I'm quoting, Iran still possesses very sophisticated missiles, and they are using them. Over the past 24 hours, Israel intercepted only 65% of the incoming missiles, down from as high as 90% earlier this week. I suspect that NBC did this to muster your empathy when this guy's going to say, we need to intervene because you see what the Iranians are doing to these guys, and they will show you more. Let me go to the next topic. This comes from the war zone. Iran just used ballistic missiles with cluster warheads to strike Israel. When you read these kind of things, remember, you have to think, God, it's outrageous, poor guys. That's the reaction they try to get out of you. And because you're a human being and you're a nice human being, you will say, yeah, man, cluster munition, that's not okay to hit those poor civilians in Israel. Well. Let me give you something. Let me show you the picture first, and then I'm going to get you to tell you something. Here it is. And this is according with the Israelis, right? Iran fired at least one ballistic missile with a warhead containing multiple submunition as part of a particularly destructive barrage on Israel earlier today. Right? Ballistic missiles loaded with a cluster munitions present additional complications for defending forces, especially when it comes to intercept attempts in the terminal phase of flight. You got it? All right, let me tell you. Do you remember, and if you don't, I tell you, do you remember when the Ukrainians used the British and the American cluster munitions? I'm listening, bring it on. And the mass media said, well, they're not signatory of the cluster munitions. Hey, do you remember when the Brits provided the Ukrainians with depleted uranium munition? Remember that one? All right. So cry me a fucking river then. All right, if you didn't listen to that, I'm not arguing with you, just so you know, with the baboons. So the point is this. It doesn't mean that two wrongs make a right. But when they are going to go back as they should go and fix their garbage, then they come here and they try to muster and squeeze your and my empathy. I have no empathy for these guys of people, these kind of things. So again, Crimea River. Next one. I'm going to show you every time these guys did something, the other guys did it before in a greater volume. Like for instance, oh my God, the Russians are using those thermobaric munition and pa. These guys used napalm to fuck the shit out of the Vietnamese. What are you talking about? They dropped 2 atomic bombs on 2 civilian cities. It does not mean that if these guys can do the same thing, which they don't. My point is, your beak should be a little bit smaller and recognize your war crimes clearly. All right, let's go to the next one. Associated Press from Mr. Tia Goldberg and Moshe Eric. So you know who wrote the news for you for Associated Press right here. And we are supposed to cry, and we could, Israeli scientists reel after Iranian missile strikes Premier Research Institute. And see how they are saying it. Look right here. For years, Israel has targeted Iranian nuclear scientists, bad people, hoping to choke progress on Iran's nuclear program by striking at the brains behind it. Got it? Is Iran bad? Now, with Israel and Iran and Israel in an open-ended direct conflict, scientists in Israel have found themselves in the crosshairs of an Iranian missile strike. A premier, this is what they do. Premier Research Institute known for its work in life science and physics, among other things. All right? So they try to say it's okay to destroy, and they killed a lot of Iranian scientists. That's what they say, not directly, you know what I mean? But then who are engaged in atomic energy, which is bad because they are Iranians. If that would be in France, it's A-okay, you know what I mean? The same program. Peaceful nuclear energy. But these guys, they got the other end of the stick. Is that how it is? They got the same thing from the other guys, and now they are involved in works in life science. Life. I mean, they love, man. They love science and love life. Okay. They remember the first attack, preemptive strike, conducted by Israel was against the nuclear facilities, the scientists, and then it was the leadership of the Iranian military. Those were the 3 targets that these guys boasted how successful they were. Now, the scientists are civilians, but because they are bad civilians, it seems like these guys can do whatever they want. When that happens to them, these are just scientists for life, and they love you. Okay, let's go. Now, again, this in the title or headline, there's 2 things. The latest, Israel threatens Iran's supreme leader as Iranian strikes wound over 200. So this doesn't have a negative connotation right here. This has just a connotation of, well, we just have to do it because that guy is a bad dude. But we immediately balance it or cover it with Iranian strikes wound over 200. That's bad. That's bad. Hey, can you tell me do you know how many Iranian civilians were killed in any attacks? Oh, none? Oh, okay. In the first day, there were 75 and 200 wounded. Just so you know, 74 to be more precise. All right, but hey, again, I'm not saying these things are good. I'm just telling you what I know. And that's it. You shouldn't be upset, or nobody should be upset. I mean, we love facts and life, don't we? All right, here. Missiles hit hospitals, homes, and families inside Israel, terrifying Iranian bombardment. Don't you think the same thing happened to the Iranians? This comes from Fox News, right? Crimea River. Now, here you have it. So this is bad. Hospitals, homes, and families, bad. Now, let's turn the page to Gaza. And do you remember Gaza? All right. You remember what happened in Gaza? And in Gaza, when these guys struck a hospital, or the Israelis, or they struck a house or whatever, they said Hamas was in there. Always. Hamas was using those hospitals and all those civilian facilities in order to hide, using the poor Palestinians, Gazans, as human shield. This is what the perpetrators said. Now, in this case, can you use the same thing? Like, I don't know, the Israeli military was hiding in the hospitals? Well, that's exactly what the Iranians claims. They said that actually they hit that hospital where the secretive M6 something, not MI6, M6 intelligence services of Israel were hiding. But they said no, it was just people, common people. All right, but let me show you this. PBS News. Iran's missiles hit hospital and wound over 200. Israel threatens Iran top leader. Okay, well, let's say somewhere. I don't think it's here. All right, hospital strike. I think it's a different, which is, I think, the next one in the key updates, I guess. And here in this article, verifying conflicting narratives about the Iran strike on Israeli hospital, it says here, conflicting narratives have emerged after an Iranian missile struck an Israeli hospital on Thursday, with Tehran claiming it was targeting military facilities, while the Israeli Defense Ministry described the attack as a war crime. Well, if you hide your guys in there, like in Gaza, oh, they don't do that? Okay. So it says here, Tehran top diplomat has claimed that the strike eliminated 2 Israeli military targets. Our powerful armed forces accurately eliminated an Israeli military command, control, and intelligence headquarters and another vital target, adding that the blast caused superficial damage to a small section of the hospital. So, nevertheless, I'm not saying that's a good thing. That's not what I'm saying whatsoever. My point is how these guys are just give you a narrative, make a narrative without ignoring that they did it, or when they did it, their justification was acceptable. But this guy's justification is not acceptable. Why? I don't know. Well, you know why, right? It's just because that's the way the things are. And they tell us that we live in a free world with free press. I mean, you have to be an imbecile or a really bad person who has an interest in what's going on not to understand it. It's very clear. And that has been clear from 2015. Clear as daylight. Who's who, what's what. And I'm not talking about the Israel or I'm talking about how the system in the United States of America works. How these guys tell us that we live in the free world. To understand that, hey, wait a second, the media, free media, we're told, that it's impartial, that informs us, actually went full-fledged attack on Trump, 100%, and easy on the other baboon. I'm not supporting these guys. I'm talking about the so-called candidates to the presidency of the United States of America. Those guys are selected by others, dropped in front of us. We play important. Actually, we just confirm the validity, the legitimacy of their system by voting. That's what we do. And then I say, well, you voted, and everybody was so important. The voting here, voting there. They've been selected. You get the imbecile 1 or you get the imbecile 2. At the bottom line is imbeciles, and they're their imbeciles, not ours. That's the problem. Ours, you smack them around and you change them. You elect them, you select them. So when you see the mass media, then you see the military, FBI, CIA, the intelligence community attacking this guy. It was clear, it was 101. If you don't want to see it, or you just, I don't know, then you don't see it. The same here. It's so easy to see how these guys have been covering the Gaza, whatever is going on over there. Covering and accepting justifications, reasons given by the rapist. Okay? The victim of the rape, forget about it. We're gonna you did it because she asked you for some loving. Okay, guys, it's no rape here. He says that she asked him for some loving, and he, tired as he was from work, he gave her all he had. This is what the narrative goes. And we're like, but when the roles are reversed, they're immediately put the cloak of justice and objectivity and impartiality. And they tell us exactly how it was. Hey, you grabbed her, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk to the victim too. And they talk to the victim. Oh, that's exactly what's going on right here. I'm not saying the hospital hit is a good thing whatsoever. It's a bad thing. But what if the Iranians said, okay, that was a military target? You're going to say, come on now. But why don't you say, come on now, in Gaza? Because the media doesn't say, come on. They treat it very seriously. They were Hamas hiding over there. I don't defend those baboons. That's their war. But let's be a little bit, consistent with the, oh my God, that is cluster munition used. But when the Ukrainians used on the Russians, including the depleted uranium, they're not signatories. What do you want? Nothing to see here. But here, oh my God. We know exactly how many people, how many casualties. 31 and a half. Over there, I don't know. Remember when they look at how many Palestinians died in Gaza? Oh, who said that? They said the Gaza Health Ministry. Well, the Gaza Health Ministry is Hamas, man. Don't trust anything. Trust us. Again, trust the love maker, okay? Not the love taker. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.